All right, we are live here in Google Hangouts. We got Jason here at the Sportsbook here in Las Vegas. We're going to introduce an MLB podcast. It's something that I've been getting more and more involved with baseball. Jason's always been probably my best buddy I know with baseball knowledge. And for me to get sharper and better, I think it's good to have open discussions. And what better format to get a podcast going. How are we doing, Jason?
Cool. Good. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for the invite.
All right.
Yeah, I always like talking about baseball, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to talk about a few main topics. This is kind of introductory video. First off, I mean, everybody's talking about it. We have to talk about it as well. I can remember, Jason, 10 years ago when we were there in Mesa Chandler dealing with the whole poker online thing. That was really more of a boomer bust for you and a couple of our inner circle friends than it was for me. Fast forward to then and now, how do you think that's going to change over? Everyone was doing poker back then. Now, what do you think is going to happen with the sports gambling aspect of things? Do you think it's going to be the same linear increase on that?
I would say, I don't think it's going to have the boom that poker had. You know, poker just came onto the scene and really had this wave after Moneymaker where it just drew everybody in. Just recreational players, professional, and just totally changed the game of poker in general. This is not going to have that same effect. You know, people have been gambling on sports for forever since.
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, and it's not even going to be immediate. I think that's what people are getting confused about this, just because one state, New Jersey, was a state that had the casinos in place. They've been working on getting this passed for years, denied a few times. So they're going to be the state that gets it done immediately. And we're talking probably 5-10 years for a lot of these other states that it's still going to be able to do that.
So you don't think you're not worried about the Vegas market being affected by it?
You know what? I was thinking about that the other day. When we came out to Vegas and when I came out to Vegas with other people, we weren't even coming out to Vegas for sports at first. So I think that's the same thing. When you're looking to come to Vegas, you're looking to unwind, have a good time. It's about the entertainment aspect of it. It's about being in these top-end casinos and hotels, eating at good restaurants. Sports is like watching a show. I think you place a bet here and there, or most people place a bet here and there, unless it's around a big event. If it's March Madness or the Super Bowl, then of course betting is where that big emphasis is going to be.
Sure. Yeah. I can see that. I mean, yeah. During like the football season, though, you don't think like it'll affect it at all? I don't think people make weekend trips out to Vegas and make some big sports bets, you know, where like their bookie can't cover the size of bets that they want, or you know, just a weekend trip with their buddies.
I would say you look at the climate of it with sports gambling. A lot of it's still going on offshore. I would say most people, they do not come out to bet on sports. For me personally, when I go out to the Strip, which is not much during football season, the strips, the sports books at the Strips are not as packed as they used to be. So there's definitely a downfall to that. And what's the reason for that? Vegas has huge growth. You would expect these casinos to be packed. I think a lot of people are using the mobile apps that really were introduced just 3 or 4 years ago, and people caught on probably within the last year. So I think the apps have gotten a lot better, and people are not going to be in the sports books. I've seen 2 casinos, or one main casino, Tropicana, that downsized their huge sports book. It's just a basic window betting kiosk now with four TVs. So they turned that thing into a Robbie Irvine restaurant for a reason.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I could see a lot of big states getting involved with the sports betting. I think it's good for as a whole. You know, you take that seedy element out of it, right? Like, just playing poker for years. I've known many bookies and many gamblers, right, that bet on sports, and it really can get ugly at times. Like I don't hear, you know, people aren't breaking knees or anything like that, but people are losing $10,000 and $20,000 and just ghosting the person, right? Like it happens all the time. Like it's a major thing. And it's on both sides too. Like if you hit a big score on a bookie, you know, they probably aren't going to pay you. No, like they're just going to ghost you, like, or you're going to get slow paid. This really takes that element out of it. And obviously to, you know, like the regular day-to-day people that don't really understand sports betting in general, they're still thinking like it's run like by the mafia and people are dying and shit like that, right? Like from not being like going into debt to sports bookies. And that may or may not happen, but I know from my experience, it's few and far between stuff like that happening. So this really just kind of takes something that was, you know, back in the dark and put some light into it, put some regulation on it, and makes it free for people to make their own decisions with their money, right? Which is, we're a free country and you should be able to do that anyways. So generally, overall, I think it's a really good thing. I think like the argument is that it kind of dwells on the, or I get, I don't know if that's the right word, but it hurts the lower class people the most, the poor, because they don't have the kind of, you know, excess income to be able to give, lose money to sports betting. And so
that's
it's kind of predatory.
That's an interesting point in the sports betting world. For me personally, I've often forgot how recreational it used to be when you're playing $20, $50. It can be recreational, and really, you're not going to make any money doing that. Like Jason said, you've got to be able to bet sustainable bets. You don't have the bankroll to do it. You're going to learn your lesson real quick. But I wanted to touch on one more thing, Jason, before we go ahead and end this and go into our weekend series here. We're at about an 8-minute mark right now, but for years now, it was just dominated by MGM. I mean, the strip is MGM dominated. Now William Hill came in a few years ago. They kind of have the easy access to a lot of sports books. Do you think it's something where
who's William Hill?
It's just a operator. Do you think it's something where a company like Amazon is going to jump in and say, "Hey, we want to control this"? I think the way it is right now, it's up to the state's jurisdiction on who's going to control what. So, do you think it's going to be every state is going to have their own thing going on, like Washington be dominated by Amazon, and then you go down to California and it's dominated by another company?
No, in my opinion, like the states, especially when it comes to gambling, especially the Indian tribes and casinos, they have so much pull when it comes to state regulation that anything that gets done is going to have, their mark on it, right? And so there's just no, I just don't see a big company coming in. I mean, I guess Caesars, because Caesars I think does own or is a part co-owner with a lot of Indian casinos around the country. So that would probably be the biggest one, but no, I don't see.
That's another good point. I've actually been reading up on tribal news on that. I think, being that I read a lot of Syracuse and Arizona topics, the Oneida tribe in upstate New York's ready to go on it. And there's another tribe there that's hesitant that they're going to do a backpedal on it, and then you've got the Navajo tribe in Arizona that's ready to go as well. So that should be very interesting. This is an introductory video / podcast. Let's go ahead and dive. Each of us is going to discuss. This is going to be an MLB show for the most part, but about the legalization here. But let's go ahead. Jason's got a great mind when it comes to baseball. He's going to discuss the first series here.
Well, hold on, Zach. I just wanted to touch on one thing with the regulation and like a big Amazon company coming in. I do think that DraftKings is like the best name, and they have the most amount of emails, right? Like they could probably, especially if you do like the coast state kind of stuff where they start adding, California betting with Nevada and Arizona, and they do like this group kind of betting system where it's online and you don't have to go physically down the street and place your wager, where you can just start betting online. I think DraftKings could have huge pull in that kind of market. They'll be able to team up with other big casinos and whatever the legislation happens. I'm sure they'll have a big part in it as well.
Most definitely. That'll be an easy, seamless transition for them.
Yeah, for sure. And they have, I mean, they have the database, they have the software, they have the engineering. Like, it would be no problem. And they have the best name too, right? Like, they're just recognized. So they have marketing, everything going for them. So I could see them being a big player in that. As far as series go, yeah, I like Oakland A's against Toronto Blue Jays this weekend. I think the A's are a phenomenal team. They're young, a lot of good talent. Their lineup is deep from top to bottom. They have a lot of power. Toronto, on the other hand, I don't think they are as deep. Josh Donaldson, their best hitter, has been struggling all year. I think, you know, he's a China doll. Gets hurt a lot. Their pitching staff is one of the worst. Probably, you know, them, Seattle, and I don't know who else.
There's a lot of inflation on Toronto, right, for Oakland being on their third straight road series.
I guess, yeah, there could be. That could be a factor. I think they're looking at the pitching matchups and they're seeing, you know, Sanchez, Estrada, and Happ pitching. Sanchez and Happ have pitched somewhat decently, but I've seen them both get knocked around as well. And Oakland's just one of those gritty teams, man. I like they don't give up. They come to play every single day. They have a top to bottom lineup. You know, they have good bullpen. They have one of the best pitchers in the league, in my opinion, in Minea. So I can definitely say, and you're getting plus money here. I just don't think the line is correct. Like, I think Oakland should actually be a favorite in the series, and if at very worst, to pick them. So yeah, I'll take the 35 points, or I guess 25. But yeah.
Now touching on the other series real quick, just a brief mentioning. The Colorado versus San Francisco. San Francisco minus 125. San Francisco 3-7 their last 10 games. Colorado, they have the better starting pitching when you look at it. I think it's going to come down to the team that can score the gritty runs. That's at home with San Francisco. Great team in the afternoon at home, which will be Saturday and Sunday's games. And then you have to rely on the bullpen. You know, San Francisco doesn't score a lot of runs. That'll be a problem in this series, but I think they can rely on the bullpen advantage and just the home field advantage to squeeze out that small price point.
Yeah, I like it.
But, I mean, we were testing this out. We're already at the 15-minute mark, Jason, so this seems should be pretty easy. We'll see what time frame.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, the only thing I would just like it to be more of a conversation format. You know what I mean? Like, just are you still recording, or?
I'll stop it.
Oh, okay.